Hello everybody and welcome. Well, today we're going to talk about this fantastic subject. We're going to talk about tell me how you're born and I will tell you how you are. This subject is amazing because the way that we're born will determine so many things in our personality, will determine characteristics in that personality, also will determine how we're going to live our lives, also will determine what kind of diseases we may have in consequences of how we were born. But not just how we were born will determine all of these things in our lives, but also we have this important part in us that is our ancestors, the transgenerational side of us, those ancestors. And be careful, because when I say ancestors, I'm talking about from your parents and above. So all of those people that you maybe never met in your life, those also will determine a lot in your personality, in your characteristics in your life, how you're going to live your life, what kind of relationships you will have, what kind of jobs, profession, all of that will be very much influenced because of what they lived, what your ancestors live. And sometimes you may not even know those ancestors. Let's say you never met your great-grandmother, but you are called Mary, just like your great-grandmother. And actually everybody tells you, you are just like your great-grandmother Mary. And you maybe came in replacement, let's say, to put it in an easy way to understand, of that great-grandmother. So you have her soul, and you actually may go to the same things that great-grandmother had, the things that she went through in her life. Maybe she had issues. Let's say, I'm going to give you a quick example. Let's say that great-grandmother you never met, you have nothing to see apart from a photo you saw about that great-grandmother Mary that has the same name as you. And actually they even name you in honor of that great-grandmother, which I, by the way, don't agree with naming children with the same name as your ancestors, because these things will happen. So let's say that great-great-grandmother Mary lost her first child, that baby born, but days after he passed. So now you are having issues to conceive. You just cannot get pregnant. You just can't. You're trying everything, but you just cannot get pregnant, because unconsciously still in you that story about great-grandmother which had a baby but days after lost the baby. So your subconscious is protecting you that you will not go to the same thing yet like your great-grandmother Mary did. So in the way to protect you is let's not help her to conceive. So if she doesn't conceive, she will not go to the pain that great-grandmother Mary went through when she lost that baby. So those are things that we tend to do the same as our grandparents, as our ancestors, or just simply repair. And it's a way to repair is don't go through that pain again. Well, we will have fertility problems. So that's another way that our ancestors will influence in our lives, and how that will impact also in our lives. But then it's another part. That other part is 9 months before you were conceived until you were 3 years old. In that period in between, everything that your mom went through in that period, how your mom went through those situations in her life, will truly influence how our personality is and how we see life, because through that period we saw life through mom's eyes. So let's say if your mom was pregnant with you and then your grandfather passed, your mom's father passed, and your mom, of course, it was a tragic death. It was unexpected, and she lived that death in a very agonizing, painful way. that will truly influence your life and in many ways. So the way we go through life in that period when we're pregnant also as women is very important. And I always say we can change situations. If the situation is there, we can change it. How we react to those situations, that's what makes the difference. And you may say, well, how would you react in a very tragic death? I'm not saying that you can react much different, but yes, if you see death in a different way, so that will not impact that baby. I had a case where the lady had lost her father while she was pregnant with her son. So what she did is she just didn't react it. She just went numb, didn't want to cry, didn't want to feel, didn't want anything. So she took years for her to actually mourn that father. So what happens with that boy? So now he's 4 and he doesn't talk, because that's what was imprinted in that baby. You don't feel, don't talk, don't say anything, because that's what the mom did when she was pregnant. After we had a session, that baby, a couple of weeks after, that baby, that 4-year-old, was actually starting to talk, really talkative, because mom started to work on those emotions that were repressed 5 years ago. Those emotions that she didn't mourn her father. She couldn't talk, she couldn't cry. And also, when you don't cry, when somebody dies and you just can't cry because for any reason you just can't cry, then also will create all the diseases in your lives. Let's say this same situation, and maybe later on in life you have an issue with your eyes, very dry eyes. And I will always look for things like this. I will look what kind of situation happened. The mom maybe couldn't cry, or you couldn't cry. Right, and then is the way we born, how that labor was. But to understand this clearly, we need to understand, as human beings, we have one way of seeing everything. Everything that gives us life, we're gonna tend to repeat that, because that gave life, that created something. From that, we created something. So if that worked, why to change it? So let's keep doing it, because that gave life. Now, when something happens, and because of this generates death or separation or a tragic event, we tend not to repeat that. We actually tend to evade that completely. So when a baby is born, that gave life. So the way that baby was born, whatever the way was, had created life. So what happens is that later on we try to repeat that, because that gave me life. So that works. So let's just keep doing this. And once we start talking, you will understand why I am saying this. And as human beings also, we are prepared just to give a labor, just a natural vaginal labor with no complications, all easy. That's what it should be, normal, natural, right? But not all of the labors are like this, and sometimes the labor may be easy, quick, and simple. But the environment around us was not so nice. Maybe it was issues with the family. Maybe you were on your own when you had your baby and you wanted the father to be there, but the father wasn't there. You were sad during the whole pregnancy, and now you're even worse during the delivery. All of this will imprint in us a program that will repeat, because this has given us life. So when we analyze the delivery, we need to put all of this in context, not just how the delivery was, but the whole program and the whole situation in general. So to start, let's start with the normal vaginal labors. So let's start with the induced ones. This labor will put an imprint on in the baby that says, I need help. Because this baby doesn't want to born yet. This baby is quite comfortable in that uterus. That baby is in that womb, really warm, all perfect. But the ones outside wanted that baby to get out. So for that baby, the imprint is, I need help. I need external help. They want to kick me out. I am comfortable here, but they want to kick me out. So these babies are babies that tend to need a lot of help in life. They are babies, adults, all of them. They need a lot of help. They always want you to help them on everything. They are people that normally get ready and all of that, but they need somebody else to help and do the last bits. They actually expect for you to help them. And be careful, you need to also see how many people also were helping you in that delivery. In my case, I had about 10 people in that room. That baby of mine was ready to get out. The head was almost out, but because I was on a risk pregnancy, I needed to see the doctor. Only the doctor could deliver that baby. And the doctor was busy, but that baby was ready, almost out. But nobody else, although there was 10 people around there, nobody could touch the baby. So what happens is that today at home, I have a boy that needs a lot of help, wants a lot of help. I mean, he can do things for his own, but he prefers you to help him. He can open the door, but if you open the door for him, it's actually even better. So this is what creates when we have an induced pregnancy, an induced delivery. Also, they tend not to have a lot of responsibilities. Responsibilities is not with them. And like I said, they wait for you to do everything for them. And then you have all the labors where the baby, before the baby was born, was in bridge position. So when that baby's in that position, then we have to kind of accommodate the baby so that baby can find the exit. So when a delivery is like that, the baby feels, oops, I missed the exit. Oops, I got lost and I couldn't find the exit. So that will imprint on them a need that actually, if I get it wrong, that I can survive that way. So if I get it wrong, I actually managed to born. So for survival, there was, every time they do something wrong, those are the people that are quite happy to get it wrong, because they think that getting it wrong will give them life, because that's what they went to, because they got the wrong exit. There tend to be people, so they get lost very easily. They can never find the exit. Also, they can never find their way out in life. So those are things that will influence in those people, because they live kind of in a confusion and an opposition kind of program where they're confused, but also they don't know where the exit is. So that will create that on them. Now the labors, they are very fast, quick. Sometimes you don't even have time to even get to the hospital. In those labors, we're gonna find people that always want everything quick. They expect you also do everything quick. They live life to the limit in high speed, and they're always running. They're probably good runners also. And they're very impatient, of course, people. And those are people also that tend to have problems with thyroid, mostly with hyperthyroidism, because they need to go to life quick. Remember, the thyroid is our clock. So a life clock. So anything that has to do with thyroid, has to do with times, our times. So people they born really quick normally tend to have hypothyroidism. And then we have those labors that are past the due date. When it's past the due date, I will also see what happened there with the mother. What is it outside that womb that the mother doesn't want that baby to get out? Normally we say, oh my God, I want this baby to get out. But truly, unconsciously, it's something that is retaining that baby, and that baby won't come out. Because unconsciously, the mother maybe feels that she's not ready for this, or the situations around the house, or whatever that is around them, that mother feels the need to hold that baby in for a little bit longer. Those babies also tend to be late in life, late for a job, late for work, late for school. You can have to push them to get out of the house. And then we have the premature babies. Those labors, they're born long before the due date. It could be a month, it could be 2 weeks, or it could be months also. Well, in that part, we will have to see in our ancestors. We will have to see what happened there. What happened maybe with that baby? Maybe it was a baby that born with 8 months. And because of he born before time, he didn't make it, and that baby didn't make it. So now, unconsciously, because I have my ties with that mother on my family tree, I have my baby at 7 months. Let's not risk it. Let's have it before, because if I have it before, I won't go through what my grandmother went, or my great grandmother went with that baby they born with 8 months, let's say. So that's another story. But also to what is happening with that mother. What's happening with that mother that has that big need also to get that baby out quickly. What's happening around them? What's the environment in the house? What's happening with the family? But we definitely have to look for family tree stories in that case. And of course, because they're early, they always like to be early. Those are very impatient people to get out. They're very punctual, more than punctual. They actually tend to be really early. So then we also have those deliveries where the baby comes with the umbilical cord wrapped in their neck. In those cases, this baby born with the freedom program. And what do I mean by freedom? Because for them, freedom to born, to get out, it's tied to death. If I get out, because my neck is all wrapped in this umbilical cord, this can cause me death. So for those babies, they come with the program of freedom, where freedom can cost me my own death. Those are babies that will go through life also with issues, because they feel trapped if they have, let's say, a turtleneck, or they have necklace, they don't like it because they maybe feel asphyxiated, or they feel too tight on the neck. Those are also people that maybe later in life will suffer also with thyroid. They tend not to have responsibilities. They tend to live with the parents. There are people also, they may live off the government. They may have tried to study, but they never finish the courses. Or they may start a job, but they may not finish it. Also, they never can have their own freedom, and they not very good being on their own, like to support themselves on their own. Like they need help, and they have these issues with going out, with having this freedom. Being out may cause them this freedom, and the freedom will cause them death. Now, in this particular case, when the umbilical cord is wrapped around the neck, I will always look on the family tree. I will look for those that hang themselves. I will look for those that drown, or the cause of death was drowning by water, by food, for whatever reason, but they drowned. So anything to do with the passing of air. Now, forceps. Now, when we have a delivery, when forceps is it's involved, now we have to need extra tools, mechanical tools to extract this baby. And this is how they feel. I need special tools, external tools to get me out. But what happens when forceps is involved? When forceps is involved is because the whole labor was coming quite good, all normal, as expected. But then in the last minute, something took a turn, and now we have to use first forceps, and we need to get this baby quick out of here. So what happens there? I will normally look for the mother. I will look what happened a couple months before that delivery, because all that pregnancy probably was quite good and smooth, but something happened during that pregnancy. Maybe the father left the mother, maybe they separated. Something unexpected happened during that pregnancy. Then now, during labor, something unexpected happens, and now we have to use external tools to get that baby out. So for those babies, it's a program of, I need that extra tool, that extra help, but also they tend to be people which don't like to be controlled, but they're very good controlling. They like to have business partners. They like to have partners to do things. They're people that don't like the physical touch, yet they love to work in groups. And also, the other thing the forceps baby may have is that they have a tendency to have migraines. Babies, adults, will have the tendency to have migraines, headaches, and also they like everything to be good, to be smooth, they're very good on that. They like to have all perfect, good, because what happens is, for them, the program is, I can start any business, I can start anything if everything is in the right place, in the right order, if everything is adequate. Because what happens is, during the pregnancy, things were good, but then last minute something was out of control, and now they have to extract me. Now, when the labor was with the feet first, with the legs first, in these labors is a program in the baby of, I can move easily, I can advance in my life easily. Because remember, the legs and the feet help us to move in life, to take direction in life, and to advance in our lives. So when the baby borns with the feet first, the baby will have program of, I can move in life, I can advance, and they even feel sometimes they're not even moving forward. They always feel that their life goes backwards. Also, these are babies, they feel inadequate. They're children and adults that later on in life, they will always feel inadequate. In any part of life, they may feel inadequate, but they also have a program of guilt, because they feel guilty because of the way they born. They maybe had tear the mom apart, and mom needed some sewing there, or how that delivery was so inadequate, For them, they cause so much pain in mom that now they have this guilty feeling on them, and they tend to be more close to mom because they always have this guilty feeling. But this will apply for everybody in life, and they will go to relationships and always feeling inadequate and guilty. Now, when the baby borns bump first, when the baby borns like this, it's an unconscious way to show their sex first. Because maybe one of the parents didn't want the sex that they are. So let's say there was a baby girl born, but the father wanted a boy. So this is an unconscious way to the girls say, hello, I am a girl, this is what you got, and this is what we're dealing with. I am a girl, I am not the boy that you've been wanting for. And so this is what I want you to see first. I don't want you to see my face. I want you to see my genitals so you can see I'm not a boy. This is an unconscious way. These babies tend to have a lot of issues at school. They also have issues with identity. There are people that normally tend to show you who they truly are. They also, children, they maybe try to please their parents. So let's say if daddy wanted a boy, but you born a girl, and although you're telling them, well, this is what you got and this is what you got, they tend to kind of maybe dress a bit more boyish, or maybe go with that to a football or soccer game to please that, to say, hello, well, I'm not a boy, but I am doing some stuff so you can like me, so you can love me, so you can accept me, because this is an unconscious way. When the parents want a special sex, and that sex is not what they got, that is a very conflict for those babies, an identity conflict, because they feel rejected before they even born. So that it's an identity conflict that those babies will carry on in life. So now when the delivery was all good, but the baby has the Meconium aspiration syndrome, where the baby has aspirated the meconium because there was not enough oxygen at the last minute, and the baby has aspirated this. Well, let's be clear, meconium, the meconium is it's the dirty stuff, all of that stuff that we shouldn't aspirate. So in those particular babies, it's a very deep conflict of identity and territorium, because we have to remember, and I have a cystitis video for this, cystitis or anything that has to do with fecal acids or urine has to do also with the territory, just like dogs do it. Dogs will go around just marking the territory. So if the first thing you've done is, before you even get out, is just to aspirate this, also can implant a program in that baby of life is shit. And this is a program that family already has, because that family already has a lot of injustice happening to that family, where that family already went through a lot of injustice in their family, where the mother maybe went through a lot of injustice during the pregnancy. So now that baby, to top it up, it aspirates the meconium, and that makes you feel unconsciously life is shit. And also these people tend to live life in injustice. Life is not fair for them. It's not right or wrong. It's always just not fair for them. These people also tend to have problems with justice, with legal issues and stuff like that, and always nothing is fair for them. These are also people that tend to feel they are used by people. And also they tend to have a lot of issues in their stomach and in their intestines also as well. Now for last, in the natural vaginal labors, we have the dry labor. Now when we're talking about dry labor, it's not enough water left for that baby to survive in that nice, comfortable place where they were. And now I'm running out of water. Unconsciously, and I'm saying this very clear because it's unconsciously, because I'm not saying this is what the mom has tried to do, although I had cases where this was the case. But the mother, the baby feels that the mother hasn't protected them, the mother hasn't taken care of them. They even may feel my mom had tried to kill me, and that's why I say unconsciously. Now this can create this big rejection on the baby for the mother, and when you don't even understand what happens, why this baby feels that doesn't like me, or all the contrary, that baby will try to please the mother so much because they feel that the mother has rejected them, the mother has tried to kill them, and they will like the mom to love them unconditionally so much, but they feel that that is not possible. Now I had a case where the mother had tried everything to terminate that pregnancy and nothing truly worked. The last chance she had was then the delivery time, and for a long story short, and she should have been in the hospital because she knew she had broke the water, but she didn't, and the baby almost died. It born all blue and almost died because of this. But this was a very conscious decision that the mother did. Now, that, like I said, this just doesn't have to be your case, but I'm just trying to say that this is what can create on that baby and what the conflicts that this may have in the baby and as a child or as an adult, and that relationship with that mother. Now let's talk about cesareans there. Well, C-section, what it's more called like, it's a procedure that most doctors like to do in some countries because it's a well-paid procedure. I remember that when my baby born, I was in the States, and in the States this was a very popular procedure, and my biggest fear was actually to have it via C-section. That was not my case at the end, but I was very scared for that. Somehow that was my worry. Now, we need to remember the normal weight for a baby to born is vaginal, natural, and without complications. But sometimes, because there's no other options around, we need to go to a cesarean section. Now, the cesareans are the procedure, the way, the labor that will affect the most a child. Why? Because that baby is very comfortable in that place, and now the external people are trying to get them out. But not just that. It's implanting on that baby you are not capable of doing on your own. You are not capable. So we need to use professionals for you to get out. One way to see this is I want you to imagine that today you lost your job, you lost your house, you have nothing left. So your mom says, come on, don't worry. Come to my house, you have your room here, I will give you food, I will give you warm clothes. So you have a roof under you now, you have all the love from your mother, you have everything there. And one day you just go for a walk, and when you come back, all your clothes are outside, and that key that used to open the door for your mom's house doesn't open anymore. You've been evicted from your mom's house. And this is how that baby on cesarean section feels like. I've been evicted from my own mother's house. They want me out. They didn't wait for me to try to do it on my own. So they are implanted two things. I need a professional to get out because I can do it on my own. and they haven't trusted me to do it on my own. So when you program a C-section, when you set a date and a time, they just do it, we're just gonna set the time for this C-section, you are implanting in that baby a program of, we don't trust you. We don't trust you to do this. So for that reason, we are programmed this, we are preparing everything, and we're gonna get the professionals to do this because we don't trust you. And what this will implant in that baby is a very insecure child, a very insecure baby, very insecure child, and a very insecure adult, where they never gonna feel that they can do anything on their own. They may even try hard, but at the last minute, they will always need a professional to check on them. Somebody that knows better than what I know, they will say. They can be the greatest writers, they can be the greatest painters, anything, an architect. But they will always double check with somebody that does know, a professional to do their job. These people normally tend to be the ones that get ready to go and do something, but they always will need somebody to pull them out. They will always need somebody to take them. They maybe get super excited to get to university, to do it, to do this, that, but they will need maybe mom to take them, to enroll, to go and see the place, because they feel that they can do it on their own, because this is what they were implanted on him, and that baby will feel, nobody trusts me, nobody trusts that I can do this properly, that I can do my job. And then also you have that C-section. There was an emergency C-section where maybe the mother was unconscious during the delivery. So this will implant on the baby. My mom didn't even care that I was being born. My mom didn't want to be awake to see me born. Again, I understand that this was an emergency, that this is the only way around it. But for that baby, will create this conflicts of, my mom didn't want to see me born. So this may create a conflict. But then is another problem. If that mother almost died because of the delivery, that can implant on that baby a guilty program, where that baby feels guilty, because of me, my mom almost died. I had a case like that, and it was amazing when we start working in this case, because she felt always that she owed her mom something. She didn't know what, but she always felt that she owed her mom. Well, she felt like that because her mom was in a coma for 48 hours after she was born. So she felt that because of her mom was in the coma. So this will create in that baby this insecurity of, my mom was not ready for me, didn't want to see me, didn't want to be present on my delivery. But like I said, on all of them, you guys need to put all of them together, not just one thing. It has to be many things. It has to be also with the environment that was around the house. I mean, I had a case where the lady told me where she had 2 children, but when both of her children born, the doctors were really rude. The language was really rude. Basically, those babies were not really welcome. And she felt that was super unfair, super rude, but also that also was imprinting on those babies. Nobody likes you, not even when the day that you were born, they look at you nicely. Nobody celebrates you like they should be celebrated. So you have to look at the whole context. You have to see of many things. Maybe your delivery was on C-section, but the environment around was a bit difficult. You have to see the whole thing. Now, the question of the $1 million is, can we change this? Can we change the personality? Can we change some characteristics of us? Of course we can. because what we do when we do a session, the first thing I do is analyze your family tree. That's the main thing. And then I also analyze that part when you were baby, what happens when your mom was pregnant. Sometimes the person doesn't know nothing about when the mom was pregnant. So we go to the uterus, we go back in hypnosis, we go back and we go to see what that mother went through, and that also will help us. But also we have to see all of this and the way you were born and all of that. Also, you may not know how you were born, but we can do that through the hypnosis. And we have to see the whole thing. And then because if this is being programmed, we can reprogram all of this. And this is the magic part of all of that. And then we can change those characteristics on you that you don't want to have it anymore. And then now you understand they are because of the way that you were born. But I hope this video has helped you. I'm gonna leave here all of the comments that you have, all of the questions you may have. If there's any subjects you would like me to make a video, please leave the comments below. And I hope, like I said before, I hope this video has helped you, and I'll see you next time. Take care and bye-bye.